Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yak Jan number 154 for January 27th, 2022. How's it?
Good.
The disembodied voice of Jay will be joining us today.
Yes, I am voice only today. I'm a hot mess. I'm crying. I just found out Patrick is cheating on me, so I don't want to be
This is how relationships go these days.
my wife is not feeling too well, so I'm just on comment duty tonight, and I might have to run away at any time.
That's an excellent excuse for a broken heart.
Yeah.
And of course, we do have a special guest with us today, Ron. Ron's computer videos.
We also have a special echo.
Oh yeah, serious echo.
Who's not wearing headphones? Greg.
Shouldn't be me though. Hold on.
But it is.
GT always brings the audio fun, no matter how he joins. It's always him.
Yep, echo gone when you mute it.
Hold on.
We're not going to let him live that down.
Is it still there?
Everybody in the chat say for
Testing
shame.
1, 2, 3. I think
Testing.
the echo's resolved now.
Well, but now we have to do Ron's intro again because he's.
Oh man.
Yes, let's try again.
Take two.
We have Ron of Ron's computer videos. Ron,
Hey, everybody. How are y'all this evening?
doing okay. How about you?
Doing great. Doing great. Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know your intro is 4 minutes and 31 seconds long.
And it was recently shortened.
Yes.
Yeah.
My 30
And-
seconds.
And I commend Steve's efforts with shortening it, but I hear it.
No.
Hear it when it does the chop, that bit you cut out.
Me
and
too.
Yep.
It
You
hits
could
me
you
in
could
the
go
eye.
ahead and you could edit it yourself then.
Okay, send me the footage. I'll do it.
I'm just
Sure.
curious. Like, do you guys get royalties every time you play it or something like that?
Yes.
Only Steve does.
All right. Good.
So
It's got it.
basically, it's the guests that we have on have to pay the royalties.
Small print, man. It was all there.
See, but the whole thing with that intro is it's a decent amount of time for someone to get the notification and then go and have a quick toilet break before they then set themselves up in front and watch it. So that's why we do it.
It also works for the guests too. Yes.
Like,
Yes.
where's Bruce? He's having a slash. He'll be right
Yeah,
back.
I'll be right back. Do you guys use that term as well, or are you just use your Australian knowledge?
No, I grew up watching British and Australian TV and Canadian
There you
TV, so I'm all down with the Commonwealth slang.
Yes,
Oh, this is gonna be a good show tonight. So how's everyone doing? Any exciting projects going on? Anybody blow up anything over the weekend? Ron, since you're on big screen, did you do anything recently?
Yeah, I
has
did
been-
actually. Eric Miller was so kind. He went and picked up a PowerBook 180 for me. That was kind of in his neck of the woods and sent it to me. And I guess at some point, like the original owner of this just bought just got like a 7.5 volt center positive with the correct size barrel, but 5 amps,
Ooh,
and you can smell every amp. So I've been working on trying to restore this. So got it all working. I had an extra board, but then the screen decided that it was going to start color, and then it went grayscale, and then it went black and white, and then nothing. And now it's got charred components on the T-Con. So
lovely.
that's my next exciting adventure.
And why are you not fixing this live on camera?
I can spin the camera around. All the proofs back there.
Like every time I tune in, it's Prince of Persia. Where's the board repair?
That's been weeks ago, sir. You've got to.
Yes.
I've literally covered 2 or 3 things since then.
Well, Justin is taking up all my available stream time. I sit down to watch something. Justin is streaming, so I gotta watch it.
It's true.
The obligations of
Get
being
their-
geeky. I mean,
Gotta help the community get their watch hours up.
Yep.
Absolutely.
all right. Well, how about you, disembodied voice of Jay? What have you been doing?
I have been restoring 20-plus-year-old hard drive external cases. What happened?
Ron,
I was mouthing.
Maybe
what you
mouthing.
were saying.
Oh,
you said.
Yeah, I just pulled all this stuff out of storage because I got a ton of IDE drives that I can't currently use. So I figured, let me get all these FireWire enclosures out of storage, and they all don't work. They all need power supplies, recapped, and all that stuff. So I've been working on that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Meow.
What do your cats want to say anything, Mike?
They're saying plenty. Thank you.
What have you been messing with, if anything, Mike? I know you had an
Not
interesting
a damn
24 hours.
thing. I blew up my car though.
Oh, that's interesting. Do tell.
Yeah, I blew the turbo up in it.
Ooh,
Fun times.
that you sound so excited.
Oh yes, it took the Chevy dealer 4 days to fix it. It was great. Thankfully,
Excellent.
it didn't cost anything.
Excellent.
Brand new car. Well, not brand new. It's 2 years old, but brand new car, and the turbo went up in it already. 42,000 miles.
Oof.
Do you blame yourself?
Hell no. They use it as a delivery car. I don't
The way
have
you're
to
driving it?
blame my drivers. I think it's their fault.
That takes skill. I think that's a good thing to have done.
Other than that, no, nothing else has happened. I just I lost power Monday, didn't sleep, woke up. I tried to go to sleep and woke up at 3:00, roasting to death because my power came back on, and there's a heater like a foot away from my bed that was turned on full blast, and I'm sitting there in a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, pants, two pairs of socks.
Cast on you.
I had 4 cats laying with me. I mean, they were just as cold as I was.
Mm-hmm.
I had Prada so far up my nose, I think I've inhaled about half its fur. So Monday was very interesting, to say the least. Or Tuesday was very interesting, to say the least. I had like no sleep. And then, so I didn't stream Tuesday. And then I caught a bunch of crap Wednesday because I didn't stream on Tuesday. So I should have streamed on Wednesday. Now Jay is pissed because I didn't stream on Wednesday. I told him, well, you know what? I don't care.
You're here now. That's all that matters.
So here it is Thursday. And I got paid today, and I'm already freaking broke. And I have not bought a freaking Mac in months. And I'm just pissed.
Well, this concludes volume 2 of Why Mike is Pissed. Tune in for next week for the exciting conclusion.
This is a complicated story, Mike, because it's like, if your brother is coming this weekend, put your coat on the second hook, but only if you're going to get a haircut on Sunday. Like, I can't follow this.
Oh,
What's that from?
It's Meaning of Life.
Yeah.
Meaning of Life. Yeah.
All right, so Greg, hopefully you weren't as excitable as Mike was this weekend with power going out and cars blowing up. What have you been up to?
Only thing I did this week is I actually streamed at the same time Steve was streaming, because he was only supposed to do a 2-hour stream that turned into a 5-hour stream.
Wasn't my fault.
That was so funny.
Someone told me that, oh yeah, I'll be done plenty of time before you stream, because we have this little kind of a friendly agreement not to stream when anybody else is streaming. But yeah, and I had already claimed the 8:00 slot to do some recapping on a TI-99 logic board, which, by the way, I still did get to work, but so I still got more work to do on it. But
well, you obviously need to stream longer then. That's the solution.
Probably, but Steve did graciously go and eat dinner at the time when I started streaming, so a lot of his viewers jumped ship over from him.
I did put the link in, and I did tell everybody to go to you. So I
know.
And then, I came back on, and they all flooded away again.
Yeah, I had to just push that into Steve just a little bit there.
Well, it was one of those stupid projects where the recap kit I got is not all the pieces for that particular model. So it's like I'm trying to understand what I'm replacing and what value is what and everything. If I walked away then, would have been it probably would have been better off.
And then on top of that, you screwed up my power book.
It's fine. That's just one cap is just a little bit different. We'll just put a different one on there. You wouldn't have known if I told you.
I mean,
Steve's like, if one cap doesn't work, I'll just try another one. If it don't work, I'll try another one. Hell.
And the price just keeps going up. That's all.
Can you ever really have the wrong cap? I mean,
well, Steve can have the wrong resistor pack or the wrong DB25 connector on the wrong side of the
wrong
board.
orientation is a key thing.
Mm.
I do have to say that to refer, if you're not aware of what Greg is talking about, I did a live stream of the Blue Scuzzy install, and I put things on the wrong way. And the creator of the Blue Scuzzy gave me a bit of a laugh at it, because he's like, "How could you do that?" And then he ended up doing the exact same thing. So it made me feel so much better. Because as he was putting it together, he thought, "How the heck could Steve screw this up?"
I think he's just being nice.
If I don't know, I don't think Tom's here, but I think that on the next revision of the Blue Scuzzy board, we need to have markings that says this goes here, not on the other side.
No, they can't. They can't make Eric can't make it idiot proof. I know he's in the chat. Hi, Eric. He can't make it idiot proof because I will just find another way to screw it up. So that's.
Yes, I mean, I did mention as a rule of thumb, if the outline of the item is screen printed, that's the side you put it on.
Yes, and it's easier to keep track of that when you're not streaming.
True, this is true.
Steve's going to remember that like you remember what ESR stands for.
Well, especially after Steve, how long did it take you to get the thing off of it?
Oh, that was fun. But I'm giving Eric some free promotion now, so that's okay.
But a good thing did happen from that, because it was so frustrating for him. What did you go out and buy, Steve?
I bought a solder sucker, one of the machines that we had.
The machine.
And it's coming probably in a month or so. Who knows?
Oh Lord!
It's coming from China.
Yes, it's on a slow boat being drifted away by a different current, and an eagle is going to land and grab it, and then some other aquatic life will slowly bring it to this country. So we'll see what happens.
Wonderful.
Well, I guess I should have wrapped up what the hell I was doing. So, Bruce, what did you do recently?
A couple of things. I got a new sort of boot drive for my classic Mac Pro. I up until this point had been using an SSD, Samsung Evo SSD, 1 terabyte, sitting in one of those little, I think it's Sonnet cards, PCI cards, and that gives you a lot more speed than you would for just plugging it into a normal SATA port. And that was giving me about 400 megabits a second. And then I found out about these, how much of a speed increase you can get by using these like the little sled things, the little, M2 SSD. So I went and got a 2 terabyte one of those, and then a $13 PCI card for it to sit on. And I've now taken that 400 megabits a second up to 1400 megabits a second. So for the old classic Mac Pro, it's been a right kick in the pants, and it's going beautifully now. So very happy with that. And
that's excellent.
I bought a welder. So there.
And you still have all your digits?
I still have all my digits. I haven't burned myself or anything like that. I've been, been very careful with what I've been doing and everything like that. But I'm having a bit of fun learning to weld.
Excellent.
I love how the channel is going to shift, Bruce, where it was all these it's soldering computers, and it's like, all right, everybody,
metal.
This week we're going to weld on this combi for like the next 8 hours.
Yeah, or maybe I can start welding computers together or something like that.
I've made a super case of like 6 G5s.
Yes, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Actually, that's a great idea. Welding it like a great big G5 tower or something like that.
Yeah, just make it more unusable in your house, Bruce.
I haven't tried any aluminum welding yet, so
I figured you'd be building a new shed out of G5 and Mac Pro towers.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah. It is a great idea.
We built a storm shelter out of G5 towers.
Hey, Bruce, funny story since you brought up computers and welding. A friend of mine actually rebuilt the floorboards in my 1978 Ford using a computer case and a welder.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's nice thin metal, isn't it? And there's plenty of it around. So
yeah.
Yeah. So the next thing, the first thing I will be building will be a stand for one of my cameras down in the workshop. One of the cameras I use for my videos. So that's actually something of a practical nature. But I can't see any welding videos anytime soon because
I definitely can. You go like, this soldering iron is so not powerful. Let me weld this cap on.
I could see Bruce doing that.
You listen to Voltar, and he often says that it's like you got to put a good weld on that. on that cap or whatever. So
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that would be great though. I mean, you should have content is content. Let's be honest.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you should do a video where it's just like, hey, here's the new welding rig that I set up, and just like just put a bead down something. People will watch.
No,
And
he'll sit there and try to weld a cap on and then mess up the board and say, Jay, here, fix it.
I'll start making up words and stuff like that, pretending like I really know what I'm talking about, but just talking nonsense.
Oh, that's
Yes.
what we do here. We try just to talk, and it ends up being nonsense. But that's why we have guests like Ron here to pull us back in when
Exactly.
when we're floating around. Now, Jay, I think you put out a very sensational video.
Oh
the
man,
sound of
I
your
did.
voice, didn't you?
I have about 40 some videos on my channel, but this is by far the best.
A very breathy video.
I won't post the link now because everybody will leave to go watch it, of course. But after the show, check out my channel, and there's a very cool 6 or 7 minute ASMR video, and it is phenomenal.
JSMR,
Exactly.
as us insiders call it.
Yeah, and I've heard from some other YouTubers that do ASMR full time, and they were full of praise. So, not really. I completely made that up and bombed. But I had fun doing it. So.
Is it anything near what your Puck Mouse ASMR is?
I don't know. I kind of keep forgetting that video exists. I'm sure you guys mentioned it. And to do at least something in the PowerPC challenge, I collected all the iLife software updates and put them on Macintosh Garden in little packages. Macintosh Garden is not allowed to host the iLife installers itself because they keep getting takedown notices from Apple. So I figured at least they can host the updates. So I put a link in the chat if anyone needs it.
I helped a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of the links, of course, were dead, and Bruce helped me decipher some of the old Apple linkage and made it work. So
Bruce is a wizard.
Yeah, wizard. Yeah, and that's all I've been up to. I still have a few videos planned, but then that stupid OpenCore stuff kept getting in the way, and you got people saying, "Oh, we want more OpenCore." I said, "Well, it's the PowerPC challenge. What am I going to
do?" That stupid OpenCore stuff that's getting you more views than just about any of your other videos.
Yeah.
The one OpenCore video I did is probably my most viewed video. So, and that was a live stream.
Oh yeah, right. You did one. You ran into the same issue. You did a video on OpenCore when it was complicated as hell, and the week after that, they released this drag and drop package. Like, oh yeah, you just drag it on.
I know. I did it right when it was like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And
yep. And I did the same with OpenCore. Like, here's how you use the terminal to get OpenCore done, and bam, 4 days later, we have a GUI app now that does it all for you. Fantastic! Thank you so much.
It's like me and the Rotscuzzy. Here's all how to do it, and then I had to amend my own video just before posting because they were like, "Oh, we fixed all these great things to make your life easier." And I'm like, "That is amazing. That's awesome. I love it. I hate it for the purpose of editing my own video in a selfish way, but excellent."
Yeah, no, it's the same with.
Missing the easy thing to do on that is you just go back and you apply like a sepia filter and like that old film effect, because then. It's not that your information's out of date; it's retro now.
There you go.
Back 2 days ago, when this method was tried and true,
and it's no longer applicable.
Yeah,
but I gotta say, I'm in love with OpenCore Legacy Patch. It's so easy to use. I got Monterey running on computers that should never even go past High Sierra because it simply runs like garbage, but. You OpenCore it, you install Monterey, you apply the after install patch, so it patches all the lack of metal graphics and stuff, and it runs better than High Sierra does on natively supported systems. It's beautiful.
Wow,
interesting.
So Jay has become a Monterey convert, huh?
Well, I play around with it on the Mac Minis and the MacBook Pros and stuff. I unfortunately haven't installed on my Mac Pro, and it's definitely not ready to be used on a primary system. There's more bugs than not.
Yeah, that's why I'm still using Big Sur on my Mac Pro. So
yeah,
I wonder what the share of bugs related to Intel only systems and bugs on M1 systems for that release, because I have a very bad feeling that Apple is going to take a bit of a priority of supporting newer systems. They might have done that in the past, just over the past 35 years. So,
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
So the first little news bit we have today, Jay shared a link. He looked at some Apple releases of security updates and such. And so I'm going to put that link in the chat there. Jay, do you have any comments to say on that?
Yeah, Apple really didn't want to do all the updates they released yesterday, but they were forced to. You all probably heard about this Safari issue where it leaks your browsing history and stuff. That bug goes back to November of last year. And the people that discovered the bug said, okay, you've been slacking off long enough. We're going public with this now. And Apple said, oh, crap. And they quickly had to fix it and push out an update. So one of the fixes in all the updates that came out yesterday is the Safari thing. And there's another fixing there for a vulnerability that was being actively exploited by malware. So it's a very small update, but it's worth installing them.
Didn't they just do it on Monterey only at first, and then?
Yes, at first they released Monterey and security updates for Big Sur and Catalina, and no Safari fix for Big Sur and Catalina. But luckily, they dropped it a few hours after. So
okay.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Keep your systems updated, as Jay mentions here in the notes. You want to make sure you back up your data and then install your updates. You don't want to be caught in a weird situation.
Yes.
All right. So we have some news items to go over today and some topics. So the first one here is the Power PC Challenge. I think we've just going to extend this indefinitely. Huh? Yeah, there we go. That's what it says. So we're just gonna keep on going. Productivity be damned. Intel machines be damned. No M1s allowed. Only Power PC. And that's just the way it's gonna be. So I know Bruce has been so heavy into the Power PCs this past few weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
So anybody else want to chime in on their Power PC experience? Ron looks like a deer in the headlights, so I'm going to pick on Ron now.
I attempted to get a machine ready to go because I actually have a 3400, and I was figuring this takes up just the right amount of desk space and all that type of stuff. And then I remembered, oh, it's like back to school, and I'm super busy.
Oops.
So eventually, now that it's been extended indefinitely, I just there's no excuse to not do
technically indefinite. I think
Shush.
Let's see. There's a couple days left this month. I'll have
you're fine. You're fine. I know that I was playing around with some Power Mac G5s. I did a silly long live stream with Linux and all this crazy stuff with Sean of Action Retro, and a new friend Lauren stopped by. Greg stopped by to make sure his Wi-Fi was hogging up the stream and making it crash. And then Sean had to go and upstage me and go and find a quad Power Macintosh G5, just like the one I have. And of course, he puts Linux on it. And he just does a live stream from it, just because that's possible with Linux wizardry and not caring about audio or aspect ratio or frames per second. Well, so he did a crazy stream on Twitch. I'm sure he'll post a link in the chat there, but it was pretty surprising because looking at the stats of the activity window, only the first two processors were really pegged for most of it, and the other two cores or whatever threads, whatever you want to call them, were just like hanging. So he did some wizardry.
I'm still waiting because I talked to Sean because I posted on his Facebook post about that, and I said, hey, or no, his YouTube video, I posted a question. I said, so when are you going to put a write-up about this? He said, I'm going to make a video. I said, yeah, but I'd rather see a write-up too, because videos kind of suck when they try to explain the step-for-step things. I don't know.
You can make the write-up.
Well, no, I want him to do it because I don't know how to do it.
Well, you could foolproof it then. There you go. You follow along the steps in the video. There you go.
No, but he said he's going to actually do one and put it on Tinker Different. So hopefully we'll see that on there soon.
That'll be
because
great.
I want to try my dual processor G5 and see how it runs with that Linux distro.
Yeah, because I tried the Adelaide Linux, which Sean deceived me into thinking was the new hotness, but apparently there's all these other distros and flavors that are far superior. So,
But Greg, you can get a write up on any YouTube video. All you got to do is turn on closed captioning.
Yeah, but see, the problem
right
with that
there.
is you have to pause every time and sit there. And, okay, then you got to go and do that, and then wait for it to do it because some people when they make videos they cut a lot of the waiting time out. So you're like,
no, not Ron.
pause.
Not Ron. He has
No.
some good 10-hour
Every-
videos.
Yep.
Just
I'm not going to watch 10 hours
Every-
of video.
you get
Oh,
every
you can't
second.
have it either way, Greg, huh? You cut out all the dead air. Nope, you have too much of it in there. There has to be a give and take there, Greg. Come on.
Yeah. See, even Sean says once he gets it working 100%, he'll make a thread on Tinker Different with instructions.
Well,
See?
that's the
Yeah.
caveat. 100% working. That's never going to happen.
Yeah. But I was actually pretty impressed by watching that on Twitch there that he was actually streaming from the G5, not from another machine.
That was the real cookie there. So
Yeah.
the real cookie. What the hell? Trick. Jeez. I'm sorry. Steve's brain left his body there for a few moments.
Oh, yeah,
like
it's a damn fine cookie, that one.
I want to go get some cookies now. We'll be right back.
I mean,
all the
for one
new
thing,
East Coast slang.
I mean, sorbet is okay, but I think having Linux on there like that, you have more up to date software.
I thought you were going to say sorbet is okay, but you prefer cookies.
No. But I think that the Debian version he's got there that's working 99.95%. He says is probably the way to go. And I don't know how fast it runs. I mean, I didn't see that on the Twitch stream because it wasn't super like 30 frames per second, but it did stream.
I'd say it's impressive, but
Yes.
Did you do anything, Greg, for the PowerPC challenge? That sounds
No.
like a no. Okay. Mike, I know you did a few streams, right?
I did one.
Okay, that's one.
I played with an iMac G5 last weekend. I installed Sorbet on it because I'm working on a video, and then I plan on getting rid of the piece of crap.
The iMac or the installation?
The iMac.
Oh,
It's my first gen G5 iMac. I tell you what, it's a lot perkier with Sorbet on it than it is with Tiger. And I was actually very surprised. It's almost on par performance-wise with my G5 iMac, the one that I love and cherish and protect with my life and kill cats.
and leave in the trunk of your car.
Yeah, well, hey, it was safe. Nobody was taking it. I mean, who the hell's going to steal a Saturn? With a 25-year-old computer in its trunk.
That's a good deterrent. Yes, that's true.
Well, at least when you steal it, there's no haggling. That might be an esoteric joke these days. I don't know.
Okay,
But that was
Jay,
the whole thing. You didn't haggle over the price.
Jay, if your disembodied voice is still around, what did you do for the PowerPC challenge? We know you've been so busy, and he's not there. Sounds
He did
good,
say
Jay.
in the private chat, he did say, be right back.
Well, we'll just assume Jay was super productive and cleaned some puck mice. So there you go. But we are extending the PowerPC challenge until the end of the month. So if you do want to still play around, submit what you've been working on our Discord, and we'll chat about it here next week as we conclude that. But it's been a lot of fun. I played around with more PowerPC machines than I thought I would. I still have an area where where my chair is that the G5s are taking up, so I have to mitigate that. But yeah, they're not small systems.
He's going to mitigate that by giving me one or two,
You can have the ones that are empty.
preferably.
I have to confess-
preferably a liquid cooled one.
I have to confess that I'm very tempted to go out and buy the 86 capacitors or whatever are required to recap an iMac G5 as part of
How many?
PowerPC challenge. Oh, it's a lot. I don't know how many exactly.
That sounds like a long live stream, Bruce.
Yeah.
That's a live
Once
stream
your
for a
welding
week.
business takes off, paying for all that'll be no trouble.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that I got the G5. Well, I got two of them for nothing, and I figured I might sell one, but I'd recap it first. But I'm just not sure if I'll recover the cost of all the caps in selling.
Does a G5 need a recap? I
Yes.
mean,
Big time.
So
Yeah,
it was right at the height of the capacitor
Yeah, the
plague.
first
Yep.
gen iMac G5s are notoriously hard.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay,
think I don't think Steve even has a working one. Do you?
I have one I have not turned on since I met you lovely folks years ago.
So no. So no.
I
So
don't
probably
know.
not. No, I actually got lucky with the one I have. I was amazed when I got it that it actually worked, and it has not been recapped.
yeah, same with mine. I mean, I've got the dual core or the dual processor one.
No, we're
I
talking.
think it's a later
iMacs,
version.
not desktop.
No, okay, never mind.
Wake
Yeah,
up,
I mean,
Greg!
Yep, I'm going.
when you take the lid off the G5 iMac, and that you can just there's all the sort of the through hole electrolytic capacitors there. You will find probably at least 20% of them with the tops open and stuff oozing out the top.
Oh, lovely.
So it's a fairly good indication that needs a recap.
I'm looking at mine over there. Maybe I should open it up.
See, mine actually looks like a normal computer inside. I'm surprised.
But that's that prototype one, though, right, Mike?
No. Those ones aren't nearly as bad. The later one, it's the early ones. The first,
the
the first
ones-
generation iMac.
Gotcha.
G5.
The first gen you could pull off the back in one step and access everything. The revision, it's either the B or the C they change, and it's completely different inside.
Both the B and the C had totally different cases. Those ones there aren't. I mean, they're still finicky, but they're not nearly as bad as the first ones were. But they also don't have as many caps, from what I could tell.
Yeah, they had an official, I think it was a logic board and a power supply recall for that machine, because a friend of mine in college had an iMac G5, and it was like 2 weeks after the warranty expired, and they still replaced it, but they charged him, the whatever it was, the labor.
699 feet.
Yeah, there was a fee involved. I mean, they replaced the part because it was under a recall, but yeah.
Just to jump in very quickly here. Just want to mention Thomas Armstrong, Brankus Creation, saved the Apple IIc. Just wanted to let him know that after ultrasonic cleaning, that Apple IIc worked perfectly. So
Yay!
I was able to fire that up with my floppy emu, and I downloaded an image of Montezuma's Revenge, and I had a little game using the joystick that I repaired during the live stream. And it worked beautifully. The sound. I played a little game of Ghostbusters as well, and so yeah, it's going well. I need to do a little bit of case cleaning and keyboard cleaning, but the computer itself is working beautifully. So that's for the Apple II, enthusiasts out there. Fret not, it's fine.
Bruce, are there any other videos you want to name drop while we're going through your entire playlist?
I'm going to drop a few links in here. I should actually mention, Ron, you did one recently on packing stuff. Is that correct? Correctly? Packing
not
things?
that I was fishing, but I will take the bait. Yes, sir. I did.
And
I've been making shorts. They're a lot of fun. It's it's great. Take 20-minute video and compress it into 59 seconds.
No, I think it's a very good idea. And how do your views go on those? They popular.
Okay. Yeah, they're all right. Especially when you go in and you're like, for the shipping one, I put like cruise lines and stuff in the search criteria. So we'll see how it goes. But if you use any of those like YouTube sort of helper app kind of things, like there's a number of them on the market these days, but it's that'll give you like suggestions for your things to put in your sort of search terms, and that was like one of the ones. It was like cruise lines and all that, and I was like, yeah, shipping, why not? Yeah, cargo containers, it's all going in. We'll see what happens.
Welcome to Ron's Cruise Line.
Yeah, that's right. We're doing a booze cruise, like to go everybody to get checked for COVID.
Yeah, by the end of the time, you'll be so drunk you won't care what the cruise is about anymore.
Nah, you'll have so much alcohol in your system, no germs. No germs.
Why is my wallet missing? Where's my pants? No questions asked.
What happened to my passport?
Oh dear.
Oh boy. All right. So the next topic that we would be talking about, if Jay is still around, which hopefully he is, would be about OpenCore. Do we use it? Do we recommend it? What the heck is OpenCore? Since Greg did a live stream about it. Greg, do you want to tell the fine people what the heck OpenCore is?
Yeah, OpenCore is basically it replaces kind of like the boot screen for your computer. It's an EFI boot loader that actually lets you control what the OS sees is what the computer is. So in other words, OpenCore can actually spoof a different computer. In other words, like my Mac Pro here is running Big Sur. It's a CMP running Big Sur, which it shouldn't be able to run without OpenCore. There's no, DOS Dude one patcher for Big Sur or anything like that. So in order for me to run it, I had to run OpenCore, and OpenCore makes my CMP look like the iMac Pro. So it will run Big Sur and Monterey as well properly, and it runs without any patches at all on the operating system. So you don't need something like DOS Dude patcher. So technically, you could use OpenCore to run anything that the DOS Dude one patcher does without using his patcher on older Macs and stuff like that. What it does is it also lets you get a boot screen if you have a non Apple GPU. For instance, mine actually is flashed with the GPU. But I could get either boot screen. I could actually see the regular Apple boot screen if I'm pressing the Alt button, or it boots right into the OpenCore screen, which shows me a boot list of things I could select, different operating systems that I can run. You can use it to run Windows too, as well, as long as you're running the EFI version of Windows on it.
I'm thanking you for doing the Windows check to make sure Jay was still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what OpenCore does. It's basically allows us to keep using these machines for a lot longer than what we originally, what they were supposed to have. Yeah, see, there's Mike. He's got OpenCore on a what year is that?
2011.
2011 MacBook Pro, and he's running, what is that?
Monterey.
Monterey, yeah, which
Monterey.
is not supposed to even run. I think Catalina was the last one it could run, correct?
No, Mojave.
Mojave?
No, High Sierra.
Oh, High Sierra.
That's
yeah,
right.
You're right. That's a 2011.
Yeah, it's a
Snow
2011.
Tiger, and that's my final offer.
Yeah, the highest OS this would run natively is High Sierra, and which there's nothing wrong with High Sierra. It runs fine. But I'm using this to experiment.
Yeah.
Because I'm not using my main computer to play with OpenCore, and
Dana.
I want Mojave on my Mac Pro. So
well, there also, not only is there OpenCore like I just said it was, but there's also an OpenCore legacy patcher, which Jay has been doing.
Yeah, that's what this is on the MacBook. This is the legacy patcher.
I would say that you want to
the same thing.
You want to run OpenCore Legacy Patcher on anything but the Mac Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, probably everybody heard of him by now. His name is Martin Lowe.
Mm-hmm.
He creates a custom package for the classic Mac Pro, and his package differs in the way that when you install his patched version of OpenCore, your Mac Pro will always be able to boot into Mojave. He makes that that's his primary thing. The Mac Pro will always be able to boot in Mojave. In case something goes wrong, you always have a fallback. If you use OpenCore Legacy Patcher on your Mac Pro, it's a lot more invasive. And if you install Monterey on your Mac Pro, you are not booting back into Mojave. You're stuck there until you take OpenCore back off your machine and start from scratch.
Now, the caveat to that is, and I had this problem one time before, is if you're using a graphics card like let's say a 5700 XT, it will only boot in Catalina and up because the drivers are only in that operating system and up. Mojave does not have the drivers for the 5700 XT.
Yeah, but that's only a problem that fancy people have.
Yeah.
So,
but you can always throw in, and the way I fixed it was I did the I used a FireWire to do target disk mode, and I went in and fixed the OpenCore patcher, and boom, it booted right back up into. I think at the time I had Catalina on it.
Yeah,
so.
can we just talk for a few hours about target disk mode and how awesome it is? 'Cause
It is. It is an awesome thing to have.
Was.
I love it.
You
But
mean
still,
was?
the CMP still has it. So
No.
So I watched Jay's video on OpenCore Legacy Patcher, got all motivated, and went and installed Monterey on a 2013 iMac, and it's beautiful. I mean, yes, Monterey has some bugs. I accept that, but it was just such an easy process, such a seamless installation. It just seems to run without any issue at all. So I would encourage people, if they want to give it a try, to give it a try. There was one very weird thing happened at one stage where it just brought up a message saying something about some data couldn't be written to the disk. You would need to replace the system. And then I restarted the computer and it was all back to normal. So I don't know what was going on.
I should mention that when I made the video, I had a few weird graphics glitches when I went to the About menu and stuff. A week later, when they came out with an update, they included a new patch called Beta Blur or something like that. Beta Blur. That resolved it. So whatever the issue might be this week, it could be fixed next week. The development on that is really fast. So
well, another thing I want to talk to that Jay mentioned was that about Martin Lowe is he does not. He's not a developer of OpenCore. He just makes the packages available that will work on the CMP. He is not. I mean, he helps them with it, but he doesn't do any of the programming and stuff for the OpenCore system. So he basically packages it all and makes sure it works before he puts them out.
Yep, and there's quite a few people working on the Mac Pro side of things. Martin kind of compiles the package, then he dumps it to a group of people. I'm in there too. I'm not one of the testers because I currently don't have the time for it. But a bunch of people install it, they test it, they scream at Martin, Martin fixes it, and we go through that loop a few times, and then you see it on the what's it called, Mac Rumors forum and in the Facebook groups, like, hey, version 077 is the latest, is out. Go install it.
So, is that what you would recommend to look at first? I mean, obviously, your videos are great guides, but to learn more about the process, that Mac Rumors thread, or is there a dedicated website?
Oh, dude, go to that Mac Rumors thread that you could be
Yeah,
writing
that's
for
like
days.
7,000 pages.
Yeah,
Well, that's okay.
If you have a classic Mac Pro, definitely visit Facebook first. Mac Pro Upgrade and Mac OpenCore on the Mac Pro are two groups where you can get info. For anything else, OpenCore Legacy Patcher, go straight to their GitHub website. My video is useless, and I say this with love. I would love people to watch it, but literally all I do is read the website step by step. So
you're a fraud.
the website is the best place to be.
Here's a funny thing, though. Although what Jay says is absolutely correct. I mean, he basically just follows the steps of the website. Because he is doing it while he's going through that, and you get to kind of see it actually happening as it happens, it was the nudge that I needed to go and do it. I would not have read that page and decided to install it. I decided to install it after seeing it done in the video. So, I don't think, doing something like that is useless at all.
Well, here's the thing, Bruce. When you did it, did you watch his video and do it with his video or with
I did. Well, one of the great things about Jay is he makes things drag out so much.
Oh
that you can just let the video run in real time next to it and just do it on the computer at the same time. You don't even need to press the pause button. It's fantastic.
That's for people like GT that say, "Oh, people cut out too much wait time." So I just leave it in there.
Jay wants people to
Speed it
get
up.
funny of that elevator music.
Now, Bruce, I'll tell you, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I tried OpenCore, and I had issues with it.
Okay.
Until I watched Jay's video. And then once I watched Jay's video and watched him actually doing it, then I realized what I was screwing up and was able to fix it in 5 seconds.
See, we've got
I
There's
appreciate
nothing
it.
5 seconds about Jason.
I should mention that there were a lot of people that were trying this, Bruce and Steve being two of those people, to install this on SE30 or some of that base stuff, which you will see clips of in my video. So once it was pointed out that it needs certain hardware to work, it all went smooth.
I'm still leaving
while
out
we're-
hope for the Quadra 840.
I was gonna say while we're heaping praise on Jay, I had like a nasty case of puff knuckle the other night, and nothing was helping. I took like 6 Advils. I watched Jay's video and I woke up the next morning and it was completely gone.
Yeah, it could be my voice, it could be the background music.
It was the dulcet tones.
Can I just
JSA.
say, I've only been here a few minutes, but until just now, that was the longest I've seen Ron go without saying anything.
I'm just letting all this information wash over me because I keep thinking my son has like a late 2008 iMac with like maxed out RAM and SSD and stuff like that. And I think it has Catalina on it right now with Collins Patcher. And I was just thinking maybe just maybe play around and do that. That'd be a fun weekend project.
As long as you're backed up, yes.
Talking about
it was
pushing the Core 2 Duo to its limits there, are we?
As long as he's backed up or the data's backed up.
I mean,
Well,
if you're
it's-
backed up, you're on the toilet for a while. You don't have to worry about time.
Well, Ron just brought up a good point here about the patcher, about Collins patcher, is that, for instance, like Catalina, you actually have to run a new version of the patcher every time an update comes out because that's the only way to update. You cannot update using the update feature. With OpenCore, however, that goes away. When you have an update button, you click the update button and it updates.
Yes,
Now,
but
I
after that
think-
update, you have to run the post-install patch.
And that's fine. But I mean, at least you can run it through the actual operating system. But Collins patcher, you actually have to run a new version because he has to make a new version first for it to work.
Yeah, and
You
it
know.
should be said that OpenCore Legacy Patcher, so I'm excluding the Mac Pro here, works
Yeah.
for Big Sur and Monterey. That's it. Even on their website, they say if you want Catalina or High Sierra or one of the other ones, use the DOS Dude patchers because they're better for this.
Yeah, there's a lot of patchers, pieces of the patch that if you use Collins like I did on the MacBook, there's like night shift patch and these things that have to be installed to make sure that the operating system functions. So there's caveats to either way. If you do OpenCore, if you do the patcher, so you want to do your research to make sure that your machine is going to be working to the best of its abilities using whatever patch you're going to look into, because otherwise you might be looking at the wrong one.
Well, like Jay was saying though too, is that on the CMP it's a lot different because you don't have to run the legacy patcher on the CMP. So on my CMP, I just hit update and it updates. There is no running any post install stuff or whatever.
Well, as knowledgeable and confident as I sound with all this, I have not had the guts yet to update my Mac Pro with yesterday's update.
That's because it takes Jay like 8 days to reboot his system. So
yeah, it takes a while.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask Jay a question.
Axe away, man.
I'm just curious about the when you did the video, you used the terminal user interface for the OpenCore patcher rather than the graphical user interface. Do you have a justification for that? A reason why you went with the terminal over the GUI?
Yes, that was a week ago when the GUI app still sucked. They've since rectified that, and now I will never touch that terminal interface again. But yeah, all their instructions on the website were geared towards using the terminal interface, so that's what I went with. But now the graphical one is perfect.
And I have to say,
Jay,
one of the most awesome things in that video is that little terminal command that allows you to download any installer. Just clicking a button just brings up a whole list of all the available installers, and then you just click a button and download it. What an absolutely fantastic thing it is to have that just built into your computer.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that the graphic interface version is so nice, it only showed, because when you use the terminal, it showed you everything Apple had available, including Catalina and stuff that OpenCore doesn't even support. Now it just shows you Big Sur and whatever releases out for Monterey. Very nice.
Cool.
Guys, I'm having a real problem here. I'm just trying to follow the guide, and my my Amiga 500 here. With,
It
with
should
can't
work.
even
It's one of the
load.
compatible
You can't even
systems.
get to step one, right? Step one doesn't even work, right?
Just keep looking. It's in there.
Just get an Apple, use one of those cores, you get the core out of it, and you're done. You're good.
You make it sound so simple.
It is with this easy plan and this VHS tape I could sell you for 5 easy payments of $9.99. I think you'll be able.
Well, I loved your
Introductory
How to
offer.
Be a Backyard Magician videos. So this has got to
Well,
be
Well, thank you.
next
I mean,
level.
it is well worth the uptick in the price. I will say that. My one customer is very happy. All right, so open core, good, yay. All right, next topic we have here. Let's. We have a long list here. Let's just pick one at random and make Mike sweat over which button he's going to push. When is it okay to finally give up on a repair? This is a topic against me. I refuse to be sit here and yelled at. Oh goodness, yeah. So
just give up.
no, that's the only one I
Give
got.
it up. It's never going to work again.
The thing that always gets me every time the Quadrate 40 comes out, because Steve's been working on this for quite some time now, and every time the Quadrate 40 comes out, there's this little spot. I think it's on the other side of the digital signal processor, where it's got these wires sticking out and capacitors hanging off
Those
the
are
ends
normal.
of wires
Those are
and
normal.
stuff like that. And every time the 840 AV comes out, every time I see that, I go, "Oh my god, what a train wreck!" And every time he doesn't fix it.
He ignores
He
it.
goes and looks somewhere else on the board.
It's fine.
Next time it comes out, there's this absolute massive, messy wires sitting
And
on
at
that
the end
board.
of the video, it's like, well, it was worth a try. We still didn't get it working, but
You know, I've had a really bad day. That's when the Quadrate 40 AV comes out because I had to
Yeah.
punish everybody. It's not just me.
and you know,
I haven't-
if it was any other machine, well, almost any other machine, it would have been gone in the trash by now.
Yeah, I would have been using it for
But
parts.
those things they're like unicorn turds. Trying to
Yeah.
find those anymore, at least for a halfway decent price, you can't.
And
Keep trying to
2CX,
get
I think.
processor out and putting this Quadra 605.
And it works. If, you know, I could take the processor out. No, Bruce would not want to touch this thing. He
Steve
said so many times.
Steve has actually talked about sending it out here to me, and you know what? My response to that was, "I don't want it."
Yeah, it comes with a lot of tears.
That's
Bruce
what
has
that-
already seen it on video. He's like, no,
Yeah.
I don't
No,
want to touch it.
The 840 AV is a dog of a computer to work on. So yeah, I would rather not have it at all.
Even if it chimed and didn't do anything else, like if it was beyond repair but it chimed, I would be much happier. But of course, it doesn't.
So look, I think that the moral to the story is, if it's your own computer, never. The answer
Yeah,
to the
that's-
question, you know, when is it finally okay? It's never okay to give up. If it's your computer, you just keep going at it any spare time you have. If you're doing it as a repair for someone else, very different story.
Hell yeah, you sit there, start saying, okay, I'm going to start charging you this much. It's going to keep building up. The longer I take and the more time it takes. Do
Yeah,
you
that
really want
was-
me to go on?
That was with the classic glue board that I got. So that was a classic or classic 2, had sound chip issues, had a bunch of issues. The previous person, who was not the client, but the previous person who tried to repair it, used hot glue to just put the caps back on, which of course works great. Don't do that. We're being
It
sarcastic.
looks good. It just doesn't.
Oh, it
work
looked
good.
like crap. It was glue everywhere. I ultrasonically cleaned that probably more times than the Quadra 840 AV. And yeah, I put a working sound chip on it and it works, but the sound sounds like, you know, someone's operating a ham radio, you know, inside the computer.
Hey.
You've heard it. You know what I mean. The radio's sine waves and all this stuff's going nuts. And, you know, at the end of the day, I told the guy, look, I have another board that I might be able to fix up instead, and I'll sell you that one, but this one is probably not going to work 100% without some weird issues, because whoever put those caps on just was like worse than Dana and the pliers, just like, and just you see gouges in the board.
I'd really love to have a crack at that one, actually.
Well, I make you a 2 for special, Bruce, but it comes packaged with the Quadra 840.
Bruce is
So
like, no.
there is one thing that does sometimes happen when you're repairing boards, which is a where you can kind of get really stuck with this investing ridiculous amounts of time on a computer, and that is that you might have one and you go, oh, I can see what the problem is. It's this, and this, and this. So you spend an hour fixing that up, maybe replace a couple of components or something like that. Yeah, that's it. And then the thing still doesn't work. So if you're charging someone, you've now got an hour invested in it. And to essentially charge someone for an hour's worth of work and then hand over something that doesn't work is kind of pretty poor form. So you then have to say, well, what do? Do I abandon it now? And that's an hour I spent that I'm not going to get paid for. Or do I keep going and potentially rack up more hours investing in this? And that's where it becomes very difficult when you're actually trying to do this stuff for someone else and wanting to get paid for it. But then, you can't be in a situation where you got a Mac Classic board, and then you go back to the customer and you go, that's got to be $760. Thank you. You have to.
And by the way, it doesn't work.
That's right. $40 for it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right.
The guy at the yard sale said that this should not be a big deal to fix.
Yes.
Well, the guy at the yard sale didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
I'll write it online. It must be true. These are just easy to fix.
I think I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think for me that it's one of those things very much like Bruce is saying, where it's just sort of like, what's the value of this item? How many hours am I going to have to put in? How many setbacks have I had trying to do this repair or even just like try to install software? I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, some things are totally possible. Are they worth the effort though? I used to work at Southern Illinois University in the 1990s, and I got a tech call one day for somebody that had like a Model 80, and they wanted Office 4.3 installed. And they handed me the stack of like 45 floppy disks, and they were like, "Here you go." And I was like, you surely have a student work in your office that can sit here and go like this for like the next 8 hours, because I just can't. I can't make the investment in doing this. There's so many other. There's more people to save, and I can't save this one. So there's lots of times where I kind of look at stuff, even modern things, where it's just like, what are the hours invested? Have I had setbacks on one of these things? What do my years of experience tell me is going to be what the likely outcome is? And is it going to be something that everybody can deal with the cost of? Whether it's my time, guys, I'm going to be 46. There's only so many sunsets left. So am I going to sit here?
So many Quadra 840 AVs left. That's
right. Steve, you need to give up on it, because even Apple was like, they're like, one of the engineers was like, should we put a PDS slot in there? And they were like, no, we're not even going to do that. We are not going to invite like any kind of like people to do anything to this machine other than turn it on.
I'm waiting for like the lone engineer that's still at Apple that has had his hands on that project to just come across that stream one day and just go, what the hell are you doing?
the one employee at Apple with like a mighty neck beard that smokes out behind the dumpster. You're waiting on that guy to call you, because he's probably going to be the one that knows the answer.
The problem is the capacitor over here is looking a little funny. You gotta put this lotion on it. It'll speed it right up.
I would just like to quickly make a quick mention and thank Thomas B in the chat for letting us know how much he likes the show he's watching now by asking us if anyone is streaming after.
He just really wants to see that Quadra 840 AV. That's what he wants. But I mean, to the point of, obviously, if it's your own system, yes, keep playing around with it as long as you have the sanity to do so. And even if you don't, if you're live streaming, insanity looks fun to other people. It's just not fun for you.
You got nothing to lose other than your computer
and your time and your brain cells. But I mean,
time's not worth anything.
The difficulty that I have is I just had a conversation with someone today where they had some old Apple things that they wanted to get rid of, but they also wanted to have one of the machines fixed. And I said, they asked the question, well, how much does recapping currently cost? What would you say for this machine? And it's like, okay, You're talking about the logic board. You're talking about the analog board. You're talking about the power supply. Like, which model is it? What is it doing? And I say, look, here's an estimate of what someone has paid me before for this part or the whole thing or whatever. And then there's the asterisk that's like as big as you can make it, because that's the unknown of, are you going to run into issues with something else? Is there unforeseen damage between the layers? Is there a problem with a socket on there or a chip or something? And I think Bruce and I have unfortunately gotten through most of the cases of, just a simple recap already, and there's none of those left in the world. They're all the problematic ones.
All the low hanging fruit has been collected.
Oh yes, it has. It has. Well, and of course, with the guides that we've been doing that sort of stuff, with us helping people, a lot of people are doing the low hanging fruit themselves. Yeah. But then they open this one up and go, "Oh, this one's a bit nasty. I'll send this away." And that's what they're the ones that sort of we end up getting. And of course, things like the SE30, which of course has such an incredible following. The SE30 is at an age now where there aren't any easy ones anymore. And unless the thing was stored in a vacuum or something like that, I mean, if it's an SE30 that has been used, it's they're all going to be cruddy inside, because that's just because of the age that they are. Same with things like a Mac 2, those beautiful beige items that Jay's been working on, the 2 and the 2X. The age that they are now, they will all, they'll all be having those sorts of problems. So that's just how it goes,
Yeah.
That's why I sent Steve 2 Classic 2 boards and an SE30 board, all of them basket cases, because I figure me and my team are only about 10 hours away from being able to finally dig the tunnel the rest of the way to Steve's vault where he keeps all of his Cougarans. And then once we're inside, that's when I sent him the all-in-one machine. I'll be like, if you could just, I don't know what happened to it. I mean, the necks broke off on the back of CRT. You probably just solder that up.
It's fine.
Tape. It's usually with tape.
Bruce will just weld it back together.
Took a glass blow.
You just suck the air out. Just slap some tape on it real quick.
Got a cocktail straw. You just.
Quick.
You should, for April Fools, you should totally just make a deadpan video of you just had to fix a CRT. You'd get so much hate, but it would be hilarious for the person who's not you.
Oh dear. But of course, another thing I also want to mention is the good old battery leakage. My general advice these days with some computers, even relatively minor battery leakage is just going to be a write-off for it. Things like the 2SI, which is very prone to battery leak, which is the battery lives right next to the main CPU. So chances are, if you've got battery leakage on a 2SI, you're going to need to replace that CPU as well, because it's probably going to have a whole stack of busted pins on there. So, and with some of these boards that, actually have data layers inside it rather than just voltage and ground, if a VIA gets, completely corroded through, you could have a break in a connection that you may never find without a schematic diagram. So, be very, very wary with the battery destroyed boards. I was very, very cavalier about them in the olden days, and I was like, yeah, I can fix that one, but yeah, I don't have that attitude anymore. Not anymore. I mean, if it looks light, I'll say, yep, no worries, happy to give that a look. If it's really nasty, it's like, no.
But Jay will attempt to fix them.
That's because he loves beige.
Yeah.
He
that was a pretty amazing repair.
Schematics, though.
There was a machine that someone wanted to send me, and they took a picture of it, and it had some severe battery damage, and they were just saying, so can it be fixed? And I said, that's an excellent question. I have no clue. Until I see it under the microscope, I can't really tell you. There's a bunch of crud on there. It's difficult to see from this angle. And they just kept asking me, well, how much? Well, how much? Well, how much? I said, look, there's no answer to that. It's probably cheaper for you to go and buy, whatever what it was, a Mac Classic, like another one, than go through the heartache of trying to repair that. I mean, to me personally, when it's no longer fun to tinker around with, I don't want to repair it, and that's where I draw the line. Like when I got spooked on the 128K and Bruce was laughing and yelling at me at the same time on the other stream.
When you get somebody like that, then do you just tell them, look, it's going to be this much up front just for me to look at it? And then, depending
Write
on
me a
what
check
I
for
find-
$500 before I change my mind.
I don't charge anyone for an assessment. So if someone wants to just send it to me for me to have a look at, I'll quite happily get it under the microscope, have a look, come back to them with an approximate cost if they decide no, it doesn't cost them.
That's exactly what I needed to hear, because now I will put a stamp on my Quadra 840 AV board and send it to you.
but Dana, I almost read your name instead of your tag.
Hey, Pancake.
Hey, Pancake. I mean,
I have a different name every time.
who has hours of Quadra 840 AV experience under his belt? I mean, come on.
It hasn't shown crap for it.
No, it's experience. It doesn't matter. You go into a job interview and they say, how many management years experience you have? You say 20.
You take care of those metal stalactites on the bottom of your board, and we'll talk about it.
It's fine. They're all fine. That's character building stalactite.
Upside down forest.
Dana,
Quick little mention here. Sorry. I just want to. Yeah, you go.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry, Dana. There's so many times that the alchemists try to convert lead into gold. Don't you want to be there the one time they get it right?
After 5,000 years of trying,
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
So essentially, Ron is saying that Steve's repairs are witchcraft. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. on the labels I send back, it says, certified witchcraft, and there's the Mac 84 logo.
He does get luckier than most people, I must say.
Quick little answer for Eric here with his question about are schematics available for a lot of these older ones. The answer to that is no. There was a company that hand drew, reverse engineered a lot of these early boards, and have those drawing. People used to have to pay for them, but now those drawings have sort of been released, and you'll find them on the internet. They're BOMARC, BOMARC schematics. And they are around for some of the early 68K, like the Classic 2, Color Classic. There's a few that have those hand-drawn schematics that do have a few mistakes in them that I found. But essentially, for most of those vintage Macs, no, they are not available. We live in hope that one day Apple will just say, you know what, there's no secrets in here anymore. Why not? Hey, here they are. And release them to the world. We would love for that to happen one day, but it has not happened yet.
That folder was deleted a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
You can neither confirm nor deny the existence of such folders. But
Steve Jobs probably deleted all those as soon as he came back.
Probably has a filing cabinet full of goodies.
we do happen to know they exist, but other than that, that's all. That's it. That's all we know. We know they exist.
I think
so
what
will
they're
we ever
waiting
get them?
on, it's like we've got them all, but we got them on this 44 megabyte SideQuest cart, and we just don't know how to get them off.
Waiting for
I'll help. I swear. I'll keep them driving.
I've rubbed this USB drive on it like 6 times, and nothing's happening.
We got some warmth here. Just keep going.
They're waiting for the Mac to turn 50, and then they'll be like, "Hey, look at this! What happened? This is what they were like back in the day." And we'll be like, "Finally!"
But you guys, you hit on a very interesting point, which is about how a lot of these machines are just, you don't really kind of know, and then you've got these sort of community efforts, like especially a lot of what's happened in the Amiga community with sort of re-engineering and remanufacturing those boards, like that new one for the SE30. Bruce, again, plug in your playlist again, but you did a great video about the one for the Classic. And so so it was very interesting to see. It's like, okay, we're going to transfer these components and things. So some of those special ICs are unobtainium. Like you're not going to find them unless you get them off of a dead board. But at least now there's somewhere to go with that other than eCycle. So that's amazing. I love watching those videos. I love reading about those projects. So maybe, Steve, probably in the next 150 years, they're going to get around to that 840 AV board. Well, and you can just move all your components over.
Might make it
and he's going to be like, okay.
Kai has told me that the 840 AV is not impossible, but he would need some sanded down examples, and I don't want to sand mine down just yet.
I don't know. I think you should just donate it to science.
And I mean, quick,
enough witchcraft. Time for some science.
just following up on what Ron was saying there. Quick shout out to Drake. This here is a 512k VRAM sim for the old LC models. Now, these things used to be so hard to find. And now people are just reproducing them. So, I mean, it's just fantastic.
That is the most adorable drawing of computers that Drake has made.
Yeah. Drake has some lovely little illustrations. I'll see if I've got a few of them floating around here.
Unfortunately, the supply of those 60 NS chips are no longer easily findable. So
no, yes, but thankfully he gave me 2 of these, and I don't think I need any more, so I'm all set.
Yeah, I got 2 too, and I'm not.
Just send me all the ones you don't need.
I'll cover lots of 256s.
All right, so we talked about when is it okay to give up on a repair. Whenever it's in Steve's basement, never. And next topic we have is about when product updates get in the way of hardware compatibility. Someone's going to be very excited about this one. I don't know who put this in, but it's not good. Probably Jay.
No.
About the
that's
updates?
Ron's
That
thing.
was me.
That was you. There you go.
I got a great story.
For his
I didn't put that in there.
I work in higher ed. That's my day job. And we had a situation that happened kind of at the end of September, first part of October this year, where education spending doesn't turn on a dime. So if you have meetings with somebody and you say they want something, that first conversation is great. They find funding, and then you start getting Apple doesn't call them quotes. Apple calls them proposals. So you request a proposal on whatever it is you want to do. Well, the trouble is Apple occasionally they update their product line. It's weird. And so you could have situations which happened to us, which was we ordered a bunch what at the time were 5th generation iPad minis, which are compatible with the 1st generation Pencil. Between us having a conversation about like we've got the funding locked down, we're going to order something, and us getting the proposal. After we got the proposal, Apple upgraded everything to the 6th generation Mini, and the 6th generation Mini does not work with the 1st generation Pencil. So we ordered a bunch of these minis and then a bunch of the pencils, and everything came in and didn't work. And so now we're still working with Apple to try to get those returned or exchanged or something. But I mean, it takes time on their end too to say, oh yeah, that's right, we did that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a bunch of pencils that don't work.
We cocked that up. That's our bad.
You could just put some lead on it, and you could just do it as a normal pencil. That's.
I was like, I got a bunch of Wacom tablets. Can we just plug those in? Just got to push. Just push really hard. You're fine.
We need a new screen on this iPad. There's something wrong with it.
Why is there a bunch of drawings on here that's scratched into it? Oh, because it wouldn't work any other way.
Today, we're replacing your iPads with Etch-a-Sketches.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the etch.
Except we're etching on the outside, not the inside.
Well, there is one small problem, is that everybody from kindergarten up these days is using an iPad or some kind of electronic device. You'll be lucky to find one student out of 1,000 that can write cursive. So you need the iPads.
Yeah, cursive is dead, I think.
The iPad. So, has anyone else had an issue with this, where whether for work or school you've had an order, and I have a story, but for you order something and by the time you get it, it's either incompatible or it's not what you need?
I actually kind of had something similar to that happen to me on my first. I had a MacBook Air that I had just purchased from Apple, and they came out with a new updated version with more memory for the same exact price as what I paid for because it was like it went from 4 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes. And so I had the 4 gigabyte model, and 3 weeks after I had bought it, I saw that Apple was releasing, we're going to release the 8 gigabyte model, same processor, everything else, for the same exact price that I paid for it before. And I was like, really? So believe it or not, I went to Apple. I called up Apple. I went to the Apple store there in Tucson, Arizona, and they actually worked with me. They said, just bring everything in. We'll swap it out for you. And that's what they did. They took the old one back and gave me the new one, and I had an 8 gigabyte one, no questions asked. So I got to give Apple credit. They even though it was past their, I think it was like 14 days or whatever they have return policy, they were generous and actually went over that for me.
Well, that's the thing. You got to, be aware of the terms and conditions of when you're buying something. The story I was going to tell is we had, oh gosh, this was, I forget if it was, it wasn't my personal thing because I was not allowed to make purchases at the time because I was just a wee little one. But a friend of mine worked at a graphic design place, and they ordered, I think it was about a dozen or so iMacs, and this was when there were all the tray loaders. And the whole idea behind these iMacs is they were going to somehow figure out through a series of convoluted USB adapters to get some sort of image projected onto a display. So you'd have an iMac here, and on the other side of the wall, there was a TV. So somebody could control something and somebody could watch something, whatever the heck they were doing for some training thing. And of course, the moment that all of them arrived, they came out with the iMac DV that had the VGA port out built in. Mm-hmm. So instead of all these convoluted, adapters to get some type of video technology outputted to a CRT TV or anything, they had the iMacs with the VGA port. And I don't know if they ended up selling them or what, but it was like the worst possible timing because you invest in getting half a dozen computers, and then that specific function that maybe somebody assumed the computer had, you don't have that capability. But check the fine print, I suppose. That's the moral of this.
A question for everybody here. We all try. At some point, we've all tried. Like we buy something, few days or weeks later, Apple drops something new, and we all contact Apple and we try to get it swapped out for the latest thing. What do we think is acceptable from Apple's point of view to say, okay, yeah, you just paid $5,000 for a Mac Pro, and we just dropped one with more cores, more, whatever, fill in the blank. What is acceptable, do you think, for a customer to come whining saying, I want this swapped out?
I mean, I think their 14-day policy should be extended. They do that on the holidays. Sometimes they'll do it to like a month or whatever. Why not just have it a month all year round? I thousands of dollars on something.
I agree with Steve on that because at least, for the purposes of something, they bring out something that's upgraded, make that 30 days, maybe even 60 days. Okay. But for if you just want to return it, and not, because you just don't want it or something, 14 days is fine. But yeah, they upgrade something, because I don't know if everybody remembers when the first iPhone came out, the price of that iPhone was what, $600 or $800? I can't remember how much it was.
I still had my $150 rebate card or whatever the hell Steve Jobs. I got myself an external hard drive with it.
They lowered the price about a month after, and
3 or 4 months after the release of the phone.
Yeah, and everybody was mad about that.
But that was so unlike Apple to just do a price drop of practically a brand new item months after the release. Like, if you would have told me that was going to happen, I would have said you're smoking something good, because that was so unlike them to just. But they saw the product was taken off and that the price was a hindrance, and if they lowered it, they'd get X amount of new users. And I
think they started out with the higher price because of all the research and development. They were trying to recoup some cost. They didn't expect it to be.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they didn't expect it to be a hit as it was.
I mean, this problem was for you guys only. I mean, when the iPhone, the first iPhone came out, all we had was the option to get it through a carrier, and you just paid monthly. So you had freaking 13-year-olds that had enough pocket change on them to start a contract. They had enough cash to get a phone.
It's exactly the same here. Now, keeping in mind, of course, we didn't get the first iPhone here. We didn't get them until the 3G, but it has been the case, and continues to be the case, that most people, I mean, you still have the option to go and buy a phone outright, but most people in this country work on a contract basis. So they will get into usually a 2-year contract, and then at the end of the contract, the when the device is paid off, that phone company will then turn around and say, "Hey, you've paid it off. Do you want a new device now?" And then they'll just get the old one, put it to one side, and then grab a new device and stay and get onto a new contract. It's a very, very sort of standard practice here.
Well,
It's a very Australian thing where it's like, you know what, we hate money, but we love contracts.
Yeah.
So yes, we're gonna get that new device.
Well, the way they do it now, they do it in the States now, is they do leasing. That's their newest thing. So they will lease you the phone, and you can upgrade it at any time you want, and you just basically keep paying the lease for it. That's how they do it now.
They have a similar thing out here, and you just pay a little bit more from your contract fee, and it gives you the ability to just get a new phone anytime you want. The caveat to that is that you must return the old phone to them, and it must be in reasonably good condition.
That's exactly same here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, that's sort of thing going on. I mean, that was kind of, I think, in the very early days of iPhones, where they just kept getting better and better every time they'd bring a new one out. They'd have some new feature, and they were really good. These days, I find that each time they get updated, it's like, oh, this one's got a slightly better camera. Yeah, that's right. And so, I mean, I stayed with my iPhone 7 for ages. I only upgraded quite recently. I'm on a 12 mini now, and I can see that thing lasting me for years as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, they used to subsidize the price of the phones too. So, you weren't paying as much. Yes, they were still on the contract, but first iPhone was $500, and now the base model is $499 or something, and the top of the line ones could go for $1,500. So
back then, until I think the iPhone 4S came out, it was all AT&T.
Yeah.
And then when the 4S came out, then they allowed it to be on other carriers.
Dana's having a fit.
Yeah.
You okay, Dana? Yeah. Okay,
Greg,
time to move on.
Greg is right though. It's I'll tell you, those the lease on the phones, it's the way to go now, because I got my new phone. It was a factory program phone. It only had 12,000 calls on it when I picked it up at the dealership. We saved so much money. It's definitely the way to go.
Well, the funny thing about those lease phones, I don't know what they do with them afterwards, because
they refurbish them and they sell them. That's what AT&T does. They put it right on their refurbished section of their website.
But I'm like, at least I'm getting a new one. I don't care.
They do the whole leasing thing, because by the time you have the phone half paid off, the new one has come out.
Yeah.
Well, like $1,000 nowadays. So,
well, I know
There's actually a lot of websites out there where you can buy a refurbished older model phone at a fairly reasonable price. I've looked at them, and I could never justify replacing my old 6S Plus. As Dana showed you, he still has his 6S. Now, unfortunately, I did finally upgrade to a 10R, but that's not even much of an upgrade.
I get so much crap from people because I don't have a case on this thing. And I'm like, look for a scratch. Find a scuff on here. There's nothing. I've dropped it before, but there's not a mark on this phone.
Well, when you break it, then you get to earn your new one.
When I break it, I'll get a new one. Because, I mean, come on. It's a 6S. And I've got a vacation coming up in March, and I need a new phone that will take better pictures and video. So I will be upgrading. I just don't know if I want to go for the 13 or just get a 12 or what.
The camera. If you want good cameras, I would go with the 13.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's all they upgrade anymore.
Yeah, they that's all that Apple is actually upgraded anymore, is the camera systems. I don't think they're doing much on anything else, but the cameras are actually way better now on every phone that they come out with. I mean, the 12S, the 12 Pro, which is what I have, has a pretty damn good camera, but the 13 has an even slightly better camera, So,
All right, so we have what were they smoking today, which is we haven't done one of these in a while. This is a J special.
Guess I came back just in time.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. This is.
I'm gonna share my screen so everyone can see what this lovely thing is.
Yes, I remember this.
Give me a second. But this was one of those things where I was just browsing someone's auctions, and they had other things listed, and I go, oh, all right, let's just see what they're asking for here, and there we go. And it's this, a lovely Tangerine Apple USB iMac mouse, hockey puck for $129 US
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that.
and $8 shipping.
Yeah, and it'd be a bargain at twice that price.
Hey,
And
where's
it looks
the
like-
polka dots? I don't
it-
see
it-
polka dots.
It looks like someone colored in the Apple logo with the black pen. It's
That's
confusing.
just emphasizing the natural beauty.
Yeah. See, the price is fine. It's the shipping that's an outrage.
Just
You
Guys,
Insanity
you guys act like this mouse was not owned by Omar, the diamond thief. So this is the computer he ran all of his criminal enterprise on. So when you move the mouse, it handles really heavy. So that might require some investigation. Only $129.
They had the same seller. Oh, I can't find it now. Maybe I'm.
Wow,
I'm not using.
Yeah,
Tab
but-
enough.
he has some rather diverse wares, this guy.
Yeah, but he did have a mouse that was a similar. He had the blueberry or the graphite one for like $30. So I don't know what made him think that this one was
it's rare or something.
It's rare, man.
How many do you have, Jay?
Oh,
I got them all.
But how many tangerine ones?
3.
See,
Oh.
so it's not rare.
I have.
But those are his retirement mice. He's not going to sell them now. He's going to wait. He's going to wait until they accrue.
But see, I was expecting to see polka dots behind this when I saw that when it said rare.
I was too. I mean, this is what you get. These crypto mice are selling like hotcakes today. I mean, this is. So what was this guy smoking? I think some really moldy tangerines.
That rubbery residue.
Rubbery
that comes
residue.
off the
Yeah.
side.
Stuff.
I was going to say that the sticky stuff that comes off the
He scrapes
the
them off,
sides there.
and he
No,
goes
I'm thinking
there, and
He's smoking that stuff that collects on the little rollers for the ball.
yeah, that was the garnish that he
Yeah.
and then lit it on fire.
Oh God, that was just. I find some kickers on eBay, but that was just.
Funny thing is, when you scroll down just like a little bit past his ad, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 puck mice all around $20 to $30.
Yeah.
Or here's one for $8.
Which is still high. I took about a year to collect all of them, and the most expensive one and the hardest to find at that time was the purple one. That one went for like $20-$30. All the other ones, if you pay more than 15, I mean, if you go for the strawberry or the what's the lime one, expect $15 or so, but not more than that.
Well, it's really funny because for an item that has such a divide of it's crap or I love it, people seem to have no idea what the value is of these things.
Well, look at the bottom. I mean, I'm looking at the bottom. He's missing the rubber foot on the bottom.
No, that's it's all part of the $130 package.
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of the appeal.
That's
Guys,
so
never forget that a lot of these things are just like the wife said to sell it. And I'm putting out every effort. Honey, I'm busting
trying.
my ass trying
Nobody's
to get this thing
biting.
sold.
Nobody's biting.
Oh man, I should have thought
Maybe-
of that before.
Maybe if I just ran a marker around the Apple logo, maybe that's not okay.
As is, no returns. I don't know why they're not buying it.
Until someone
hold on.
actually clicks buy it now. I'm like, no, I didn't want to sell it.
I had a nice polka dots background. Nobody wanted to buy it. I don't know what's going on. Oh goodness. All right. So that was What Were They Smoking? If you have a submission for What Were They Smoking, be sure to let us know. You can do so on our Discord channel. That's a great way to submit your entries there. There's a lot of fun stuff we've covered over the years, and they just keep on coming. They just keep on coming.
So, Pep Organ says it took me 6 months to get every color of puck mouse. In my experience, the tangerine was actually the rarest. So now we know who's selling it.
Ah.
When I was looking for one, the hardest to find was the original Bondi Blue one. The blueberry has a slightly different shade, if I recall correctly. It's a little bit duller. But
So, Pep, you know that Jay has 3 of them, so he's hoarding them all.
so Jay, would you do a package deal for like, I don't know, $350? You know, cut us a little bit of a...
Yeah, maybe, but then I'll sell the cable separate.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's all his mice.
Jay, my suggestion would
Pretty.
be you need to destroy 2 of them just to go ahead and protect the value of all the other ones that are out
there you go. Because it
Well,
does.
I
up the
buy them
price.
up whenever I can, and I put them in a big box in the basement. And corner the market, you know.
I just want to see a picture of like this big Rubbermaid container that just marked mouse.
Mouse.
You pull it out and it's like a Rat King where like all the tails are tied together. Just like, damn it!
And they're all glued together because
I just need the tangerine one. What the hell is this?
I'm cutting cables till I get to the right one.
Oh God! Well, I think that's a good way to wrap it up here. Does anybody have any fun things that they're going to be working on? We plug the Discord or plug in the MacYak website, but any fun projects you guys are working on? I'm going to go to Ron first because he's our esteemed guest for this evening. Somehow he made it through. Thank you, Ron.
Actually, I think I'm going to work on a couple of. I got some additional shorts that I'm doing. Chris Torrance from the Assembly Alliance podcast was kind enough to get me in on that second batch of W drives for the Apple II. So I'm going to have a video kind of comparing the old and the new. And then I have a couple of PowerBook videos coming. And also, I think that this is going to be something of a lot of interest to the community because I know a lot of people are like now they're doing all those sort of performance testing on all of these SCSI solid state SCSI replacements. And I watched a bunch of videos where people are using SCSI Director and they're getting like testing it across PowerMac and things like that. So my video is going to focus on strictly on the noise levels of using these new solutions versus using traditional drives. And I think the results are going to surprise you.
Just put ASMR in the title, Ron. I think it'll be a hit.
Mike is planning a similar video about fan noises. He's really good at that.
Yeah, for the G4. We need that clip in here. That's
we do. Speaking of clips, has anyone played this one?
Nope.
I stepped away for one night and the cats are completely forgotten.
Oh well, that's just what happens.
Well, but to be honest with you, we haven't played this one yet either.
Smash that like button.
Fair point.
Wow, Ron, your voice really changed there.
I know.
You know how YouTube works.
Cranked out about 3 cartons of Camel non-filters, laid that track down in one take.
That sounds exciting, Ron. I'll be sure to stay tuned to your videos and just keep an ear towards the noise level of those rackety SCSI drives.
I'm telling you, you are going to be surprised by the results.
But in the meantime, there's going to be board repair videos, right?
Just all. It's nothing but board repair videos. Maybe even somewhere I just break things.
Oh yeah,
mix it up. I mean, you guys have got all the fix it stuff covered.
Well, not Steve.
You gotta have the mayhem side of that too.
He's getting there.
Ron is just gonna put up a camera next to like a bucket of acid and just like, oh yeah, here's this board, and you pull it out with tongue. Hey Steve, I don't know what's wrong with it.
All right, this week we're gonna dig to the bottom of the problem with this PowerBook.
I'd watch that.
We're gonna fix it
I
one
would
way
too.
or another. At the atomic level.
You see all these quarks here? That's probably the problem. Totally unpredictable.
If we do not move away from Ron, he's going to say just 10 more minutes, and we'll be here until midnight. So
just 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes.
He has a way of doing that.
Oh God, Bruce, what are you doing this weekend?
Weldon.
Weldon.
Weldon the PowerBook.
Is that over in New South Wales or where is that again?
I will do a live stream this weekend, either tomorrow or Sunday. I haven't decided when yet, and I haven't decided what yet. But yeah, I will be fixing things and stuff.
All right, Greg, what about you?
Not planning on doing much of anything. I've actually got to do some ultrasonic cleaning because I do have a new ultrasonic cleaner. And it's going to be on one of this MacBook Pro that Mike is supposed to buy for me is having some issues. So I'm going to have to ultrasonic it for you there.
Price just lowered.
It's already low already.
Every ultrasonic clean, you have to shave $5 off the front. More like
No,
add
he's probably
$5
gonna add $5
for the cost of the cleaning solution.
When I opened it and I see the bottom of this
Oh, that's fine. That's
yeah,
just residue.
it's liquid. Something was spilled in there, so
Character.
yeah, it's definitely
Just some
gonna have
chocolate.
to
That's
get a
fine.
cleaning.
What machine is that? I don't even remember.
That's the 2013 MacBook
Oh, that's right,
Pro.
yeah.
No,
Not too
still
late
up.
to pull out your money.
They haven't given it to me yet, so
All right, Dana, what are you up to?
I got nothing.
Excellent. Mike, what are you up to?
Dana's doing nothing.
I'm going to do a live stream this weekend. I'm thinking of maybe doing my laundry.
Oh, you'll get a lot of views with that.
So
Just make sure
I
the cat's
figure if
involved.
I just point
I'm
the
not
camera at the washing machine, you can just watch it go round and round and round and round.
Excuse me, I was promised a
I am going to play
Wolfenstein makeup
Wolfenstein.
stream
I am
right
going to
after
play-
Mac Yak.
Yeah, not tonight. I am going to play Wolfenstein this weekend
You got a headache.
because, yes, I did miss my stream and I am getting a lot of flack. So, yeah, and truthfully, I got nothing here like Mac related or even PC related to fix or screw up or blow
Oh,
up.
you
or,
have things
or,
to screw up, Mike. Let's not talk about that. Come on.
well, listen,
you have an IBM
there's
printer.
nothing
and
here.
50 parts.
There's nothing here that I want to blow up. Okay.
Well, we never want to blow something up.
So
It
at
just
this point in
happens.
time, I don't have anything for my main channel, so I am going to play a game on the over the weekend on my gaming channel to keep Jay happy because if I don't, he just won't shut up.
We also have to schedule another Unreal Tournament game. Otherwise, Ron will just not shut up. I mean,
Mike?
I want to play, so put me in, Coach.
he
Can you say
thirsts
that
for
with
blood.
a Chucky voice?
Like Chucky.
Like
I can't even remember what he. It sound like I'm gonna
No,
kill you.
not six pack smoke a day, Chucky.
Oh, Lord.
Like who, Chucky? Like
God.
Chucky.
Okay,
Egg?
now that Chucky's having an aneurysm, I think that's enough for the night.
Wait! I had to plug my own crap. I sat through for all of you guys. I'm gonna let you all to the.
I didn't even go yet.
Yeah,
That's
I was gonna say.
So Jay, what the hell do you want?
Nothing.
Okay, good. On Saturday, I'll be doing a stream, probably on my channel with Potato Fi and Tom of Blue Scuzzy fame. We're going to be messing around with Blue Scuzzies, and hopefully, I will solder it on correctly. There's the
Doubt
PowerBook edition
But
I
that's boring.
have not played around with yet, so the risk for screwing it up is very high.
Hey, guess what? I know someplace where you can get a power book that needs to be disassembled.
Oh! I know. My basement. Oh no, Ron! Don't strangle yourself live on
I was gonna
camera.
say, is it at my house or where?
You can mysteriously install one of those in that PowerBook 165. You just fix the screen on.
Oh, that hard drive's running fine. It makes a lot of noise, but according to Ron's video, it's silent.
Those drives
you
are
can
supposed to
barely
make a lot
hear
of
it.
noise.
All right,
But-
guys. Well, that's
Before we go though, on one thing though, and Jay didn't want to mention it, I guess, but go watch Jay's videos. He's getting close, so he needs to be
getting close to oblivion. What are you alluding to?
getting close to his monetization on his channel.
Yeah. Here's a sneak preview of my latest video.
Because he's not monetized until
He wasn't
Ron, it
monetized till
looks
he
like
was.
you wanted to say something very important before we ended the stream, Ron. So I will give you the pleasure.
Oh no, I no, sorry, I was put on the. Put
You
me on
wanted
the
to
spot
say 10 more
talk.
minutes.
Forget it. Just 10 more minutes. I got something. I got a bunch of stuff to pitch. No, it's I'm getting really close to my monetization too. Everybody, I'm only like 4,000 hours away. So
There you
anything you can do, anything you can do to help. I got a 10-hour Oscar the Grouch video.
Just
Just
put it
put
on.
it-
The kids love it.
Put it on play and go to bed. YouTube doesn't know the difference. they're like, we're gonna serve you ads anyway. It's your cat can watch in the middle of the night as easily as you could.
10-hour video.
I mean, how many virtual machines can you run on your computer? Just put them all on Oscar the Grouch. Come
I
on,
know you love trash. Oscar loves trash. You're gonna love this video.
it's a win-win. Excellent.
So
Well,
is it the Oscar plugin for classic Mac OS?
It is, and it's a 10-hour loop.
Oh, I love trash.
I know.
Speaking of trash, I think that's a great way to end this. Thank you very much for watching this trash. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.